I accompanied my father on a business trip through Semnan, sometime in the 1950s. The farms had died before the farmers did. 3 years without rain. I remember staring at the rearview mirror. All it reflected was white. Sky, dust, absence. The sky was too large for the land below it. The car moved forward, but the world had stopped. I was 5. I didn't know the word for death, but I felt its size in the sky. The mirror showed me everything that had vanished, and I understood that vanishing could be permanent. We passed villages without slowing down. I didn't know the names then. I still don't. There was no rage, only impossibility. I remember the silence more than the faces. The wells whispered their emptiness, but it wasn't water down there anymore. It looked like oil or tar. Something ancient and waiting, the houses leaning into ruin. The prayers that grew brittle then stopped. When the rain did not come, they buried the sky. No anger, no blasphemy, only mourning the impossible. They lifted their chains, not against men, but against the dust. Each act of self-flagellation was not punishment, but remembrance. The body is both mourner and witness. Chains rose and fell like breath, metal on flesh, dust erupting in rhythm. They cut their skin as offerings to a silence that no longer answered. They weren't looking for answers anymore. The silence had become part of the ceremony. Stopping would have made it final. So they bled, and they carried on. The lions stitched into black cloth looked like they had fled long ago. Drifted like ghosts sewn into mourning. The banners rippled above, Below, their heels split, toes blackened, blisters ruptured. Blood fell in rhythm with their steps. Pain constant, but unspoken. The earth drank what it could, then asked for more. That night, a sandstorm sealed the sky. We stayed where we were. We fasted, half asleep, half awake, caught in dreams that felt more real than life. In a hive mind synchronicity, at first light, the elements would be raised, because grief needed a shape. A dozen men stepped forward, not in order but in desire. They gripped the pole bent low and pushed against the earth, as if the weight could measure faith. We moved from tent to tent, each one sealed from sky. The canvas above was a green screen version of heaven, flat, empty, waiting to be filled. They lifted not toward fabric, but into a sonic, spiritual void stitched from sky, silence, and failure. In those days when everything felt taller than me, when I still counted shadows instead of time, I thought the Alam wasn't from Earth, but from some sky that forgot to return. A machine for calling down the divine, God's forgotten chariot, left behind in the dust, part weapon, part miracle. But nothing arrived to meet them. The more they lifted, the more the sky withdrew. Every gesture sank into the dust, a chroma key for prayers that never rendered. During the break, the trumpet player practiced something that didn't belong. The Pink Panther theme, soft and off-key. He said it kept the instrument warm. I remember thinking, maybe even grief needs something absurd to lean on. Some called it madness. Others said it was grief. But what happened had no name, only witness. They thought the unthinkable. They held a funeral for Allah. God died thirsty, and they wept, not as heretics, not as rebels, but as children abandoned by the sky. They buried not the body, but the silence. They carried not a corpse, but the wound. No rain, no resurrection, only dust folded into more dust.